Hi, we're the Andy and Christelle Schmitt family. We have our 4 beautiful children here, Libby, who's almost 11 years old, and Liam, who is almost 7, Josephine, who's almost 4, and Drew, who is almost 9. We are FMC missionaries. We are in intake right now, just finishing our intake that started about 4 months ago. And recently, we're assigned to Vineyard, Mexico, just south of the Texas border, as our first mission field post.
Our call to missions, I think really for us started with a lot of little steps closer to Jesus all the time. We both went to high school together, Catholic high school, doing service projects. One thing that was very hard for me was when we felt God calling us to help a friend of ours who had been divorced. And her and her son were struggling. We found out they were struggling. And just hearing that little voice telling us to go buy groceries for her and her son, go buy them and bring them over there unannounced. And it was just, it was so hard. I wanted to come up with a million reasons not to do it, but we did it. And it was so blessed, and helping them was wonderful. And from there, just the little things that we did just really brought us closer to Jesus. And then talking with a friend of mine, had been struggling, read the book Happy Are You Poor. We both read it, and a very good read. Really calls you into living gospel poverty. And then my talking to the same friend about just not being able to answer God, that yes, I would, if called to give up everything for Him, I don't think I could do it. 3 days later, I woke up and I was like, oh, I know what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go be missionaries. And I was just hoping Christelle would save me and say no, and she said, yeah, I'm kind of hearing that too. So, and then everything lined up for us to come to a come and see here at FMC. And for me, that was kind of the start of this whole journey.
The journey for me seems to, I think of our journey as a journey from being sort of hermits, self-imposed. We lived in a very rural location away from people. We were infertile. We couldn't have children for a lot of years, and it was just Andy and I, and it was a very peaceful life, but it wasn't a community life other than our marriage. We weren't living into community, and God blessed us with 4 beautiful children, and which was a community in and of itself. And then through having kids, we became very involved in their school, the church school that we sent them to. And that community pulled us more into the church community. And our friends at church that we met through the school community became missionaries. 2 very close families to ours became FMC missionaries. And we felt very called by God to offer to both of these families, look, if something happens and you need to come home for whatever reason from your mission field, you always have a place to come stay with us, knowing that they both sold their houses to do mission work. And both families did end up spending quite a bit of time living in our house with us in community. And again, it was God stretching us that a little more. We kind of laugh about how much we had isolated ourselves from people for so long. And suddenly we had, at one point, a house, I think you counted out
14 kids and 6 adults
living together
for a month.
in community in our house. And it was wonderful.
It was amazing.
It was an amazing experience. And during one of these community living experiences is when Andy discerned the call to mission work. And I was a little on the fence yet. I had spent a total of 4 weeks doing short-term mission work in Peru, which I very much enjoyed. When you're in a foreign country doing mission work with the poor for, say, a 2-week stretch at a time, I discovered I loved the work, and I could clearly see that for 2 weeks, it was great. That amount of suffering was perfect for 2 weeks. But if I knew that I was in it for 2 years, Like, whoa, that would be so tough. That'd be beyond my ability to cope. So when Andy said, I think feeling called to mission work, I said, yeah, okay, yes, let's look into it. Because if it's really a call, God's going to make it clear to us. Because it's not a call just for us. It's a call for our children as well. God doesn't call just the parents. He calls the whole family. And children are the best missionaries. So when we came to our come and see, I had the experience of praying, asking the question over and over, what does discernment look like? When God is clearly telling you this is what you need to do, what does that look like? Like, how do you hear that? Do you actually hear a voice? I mean, I kind of need to hear a voice at this point because I have 4 young children. And I was sitting alone praying in the chapel at the big house at FMC, and alone, reading through, praying for a clear message, and praying through the Bible, finishing the book of Acts, which is all clearly a call to mission work. And I thought, oh, well, it's the book of Acts. But my hour of prayer time was up. I decided, okay, I'm going to close my Bible, go back, swap out with Andy, so I watch the kids so he can come pray. And I was about to close my Bible, and I had this distinct feeling of hands on my head. And I couldn't look up from my Bible. And I thought, well, this is awkward. Someone's touching my head, but no one's here with me. And I couldn't get up if I tried. So I will just simply sit here and keep reading. And the very next paragraph I read was a clear call to mission work. So I thought, okay, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I still can't get up. God, I'm going to need more than just something from the book of Acts. The entire book's a call to mission work. So I just flipped randomly to the Old Testament, kind of played Bible roulette there, and came right to a passage that was about refugees being treated in a compassionate way, feeding them and clothing them and taking care of them until they could go home. And I thought, okay, not sure that that's clear enough for me yet. So I flipped to another page, and it was another passage that actually gave a period of time. I believe it was 2 or 3 years that it's a duration of helping people. And I thought, okay, all right, I get it. And I closed my Bible, and I could stand up. The hands were gone. So I guess I get it. It's good, and it's from God. And I did this in the presence of the Holy Eucharist in this chapel. I have to trust that.
And so that's how we ended up here, just kind of walking away from everything at home. And it's been wonderful. God's been with us the whole time.
Yes.